Now, before I say anything, I want you to watch this video. No commentary, no voiceover, just raw footage of what actually happened. Because what you're about to see is a type of racism that people love to deny until it's caught on camera.
It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody digging into your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumb.
Little kid, you call him a nigger?
Yeah.
The little child?
What if he acts like one? He's gonna.
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old and the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
Fuck off.
That was a white supremacist woman named Shiloh Hendrix. On April 28th, she stood in a public park and called a 5-year-old black autistic child a with no hesitation either. She claimed he went and touched her son's diaper bag. And her response to that accusation against the baby, a child, a 5-year-old, was to dehumanize him in front of everyone, including his family, other children at the park, and the internet. Yes, because even after she knew she was being filmed, she continued to call the little boy. Now, after all of that, Ms. Shiloh Hendrix had raised over $750,000 online, almost $1 million, because she stayed unapologetically racist and people paid her for it. She launched a campaign on GiveSendGo. It might sound familiar, a Christian crowdfunding site with a long history of hosting fundraisers for white supremacists. You might know a few: the January Sixers, the domestic terrorists, them, anti vaxxers, and far right extremists, including Kyle Rittenhouse. Yes. And the title of her fundraiser was Help Protect My Family. And this is after she put the black baby and his family's life at risk with her threats. From what exactly is she trying to protect her family from? It got to be accountability, okay? Because it's ridiculous. Is it that the public backlash she's wanting to run from after screaming slurs at a child? The campaign did start with a $50,000 goal, but it's since blown past $750,000 and counting. And let's be crystal clear, people weren't just donating out of confusion or pity. It was a reactionary outpouring of support for someone who publicly embraced white racial dominance in broad daylight to a 5-year-old. People saw that video. They felt represented by that video, and then they reached for their wallets. Donors left racist comments, they left jokes, and even gave some praise. And the Christian platform GiveSendGo, they responded not by shutting the fundraiser down. Nope, they didn't do that. They simply turned off the comments so that they wouldn't have to moderate the hate. The money's still flowing and the campaign is still live. Shiloh Hendrix is now reaching for $1 million. Meanwhile, the NAACP launched a GoFundMe for the child's family, and that reached about $340,000 before the family themselves requested to end it. And I get it. They weren't trying to profit off of their baby's pain. They wanted support for therapy, relocation, and peace. But while that family tried to move on quietly, the woman who harmed their child is now sitting on more money than the victims of the actual hate crime. This is what it looks like when racism becomes profitable. Not metaphorically, but I'm talking about literally. I mentioned Kyle Rittenhouse earlier, and I'm always going to mention him time and time again because he's a full murderer in the name of white supremacy. He was made rich and set free. GiveSendGo was where he raised his money as well. There's a pipeline in this country where if a white person is publicly held accountable for harming a black person or a black ally, the far right mobilizes to turn that backlash into a bag. They protect their own and they reward that type of behavior. And while Shiloh continues to collect cash, somebody else stepped in to fight. Keandra Demani, an Atlanta-based digital strategist, she took this seriously and she got straight to work on the people's internet. She investigated the fundraiser, tracked down the platforms being used, and exposed how payment processors like Square were involved. On Threads, she stated, I cracked the HTML web code to expose the payment processor funding the racist campaign that is rewarding a white woman for calling a black child the N-word. Take a listen to Keandria's breakdown of her findings.
Let me tell you about this payment processor and their so-called policy. Now, Square and Block Inc. have a policy that details that not only do they have the right to pause your payouts, but they have a right to hold the funds indefinitely. If they find that you violated their policy or if they stop payment for any reason, they have the right to hold that money to protect them from disputes. So we're hoping that they hold the payout and those assholes never get refunded.
A great example of what digital organizing can be, where you call something out, followed by action. Keandria doing this forced Square to respond publicly and crashed the company's chat box after so many people were demanding that they stop payment immediately. And of course, Square denied any involvement. And here's where we need to really focus, because this was not just a one-off. I need y'all to understand that this is the actual system. Crowdfunding has become one of the most effective tools for the far-right grievance culture. Commit a racist act, get exposed, cry victim, spin a story, and raise 6 figures or more. Who wants to be a millionaire? Once again, Kyle Rittenhouse, we saw it with Derek Chauvin supporters, and now we're seeing it with the woman who verbally assaulted a baby, a black child, at a playground. These platforms are complicit, and there ain't nothing neutral about the donors. And the public silence around it allows this to continue. Shiloh, racist white woman Hendrix, said that she called that child out for what he was. Oh, yeah, she was flexing her Nazi, her white woman in tears, the white woman in peril, although clear evidence shows otherwise. A true Carolyn Bryant Dunham, the one who got Emmett Till killed and went on to live her life and raise her children. This is truly about the public safety of Black people in America. And if people can continue to verbally attack Black children and walk away wealthier, what message does that send to other races, to other white women, to every Black parent trying to raise a child in this country? The fact that we're in 2025 and there is still a whole network that sponsors racism in politics, in the workforce, in everything, is not by happenstance. We need to call a thing a thing. We're not just dealing with one woman yelling at a child. We're dealing with a culture that's seen it, approved of it, and paid for more of it. Now we have to name these systems, challenge the companies that allow them, press authorities to do their job, and formally charge her, just so our loved ones can have a chance to simply play on the playground. To the people doing the real work concerning this case, like Keandra, the NAACP, and the man who was filming, Shamarki Omar, thank you for making sure that these moments do not pass without consequence. I love you guys. Mean it. I'll see you next time.